Hello students, today I am going to first show you something. What is this? Yes, this is the mirror and this is our topic. Today's topic is related to mirror. Today we will deal with the poem The Mirror by Sylvia Plath. Before I deal with the poem Mirror, let me tell you something about the poet Sylvia Plath. Sylvia Plath was an American poet, novelist, and short story writer. She is well known for the genre of confessional poetry and is best known for her two published collections, Colossus and Ariel. Students, do you know she was the first poet to win the Pulitzer Prize posthumously for the selected poems? Now you will ask, what is Pulitzer Prize? So, the Pulitzer Prize is an award for achievements in newspaper and online journalism, literature and musical composition in the United States. So, she was the first poet to win this award and she received this award posthumously. She was honored with this award posthumously after her death. Before I begin the poem, how many of you like to look at the mirror? All. Almost all. All we like to, before going out, we take a look at the mirror. Especially girls. Girls are fond of looking at the mirrors. The poem Mirror is an autobiographical account which highlight the qualities of a mirror. Look at the picture, students. The mirror is greeting you all hi because the poet Sylvia Plath has personified the mirror in this poem. Do you know, students, that the mirror symbolizes the passage of time? Now, let's begin the poem. I am silver and exact. I have no preconceptions. Further, I read the poem. First, you underline I. The poem is the first person declaration by the use of I. That means the poet personifies the mirror by making it the narrator of the poem. This poem is a monologue. Monologue means a long dramatic speech by a single actor or the protagonist. Protagonist means the main character, and here we have the main character, the mirror. Now, see this line. I am silver and exact. Silver referring to the color of the mirror. Exact means accurate. Means it exactly reflects what comes before it. I have no preconceptions. Underline preconception means expectations, preconceived ideas or prejudgment. Whatever I see, I swallow immediately, just as it is, unmistaked by love or dislike. I am not cruel, only truthful, the eye of a little god, four-cornered. So, by this, I have no preconception. It holds no opinions about the object that comes before it and does not judge others with preconceived ideas like human beings. Whatever I see, I swallow immediately. Actually, swallow means to eat, to devour something. But here, to absorb something. Again, you will find that I swallow is a personification. Okay. So, here, whatever the mirror sees, it reflects that image back without any changes, without any alterations. Just as it is means I will show you something that the mirror says that the object which appears before it it reflects in the same manner. It does not have any preconceived notions about anyone. The mirror is very clear. The mirror does not have any feeling of love or hatred for anyone. The mirror treats everyone equally. So, just as it is means it reflects the thing in the same manner, same way, without any changes, without any alteration, because the mirror treats everyone equally. I am not cruel, only truthful. The eye of a little god, four-cornered. I am not cruel, only truthful. In this line, you see, the mirror is not cruel, only truthful. It considers itself a four-cornered eye of a god. Since the mirror is exact and truthful and objective, it might appear to be unfeeling and cruel. So, it explains that it's not cruel, just truthful. It is above any kind of personal feeling, just like God. Now here I would like to say you, underline this line, the eye of a little God, because in this line we will get two figures of speech. First is personification, because the eye of a little God, mirror, has been personified here. And one is metaphor, metaphor. Metaphor means indirect comparison, that is comparing a particular quality of two things. So what has been compared here? Here the poet is comparing mirror's truthfulness to God's truthfulness. Now, how mirror and God can be compared together? See and try to understand properly. The mirror is above any kind of personal feeling. It is unbiased, just like God, who sees the truth and views everything from all corners of the world and looks at everything with an equal eye. Here, four corners reflect to the shape of the mirror. Okay, maybe square or rectangular shape. So, the image of the eye in the shape of a mirror. And as God, who sees the truth from all corners of the world and looks at everything with an equal eye without any discrimination. God is unbiased. He is never partial. So in the same way, the mirror appears to be unbiased. He has no personal feeling about anyone or anything. Say this line. Most of the time I meditate on the opposite wall. It is pink with speckles. I have looked at it so long. I think it is part of my heart, but it flickers. Faces and darkness separate us over and over. First, you try to understand this one. Most of the time, I meditate on the opposite wall. The mirror faces a wall. I'll show you. See, first you underline speckles. Speckles means small spots. Small spots. Underline meditate. Meditate here means to think. Meditate here means to think. Now, this line continue to personify the mirror. Instead of saying that it faces or reflects the wall, actually it is getting reflected. You can see here that it is getting reflected. The wall is getting reflected on the mirror. Instead of saying reflects the wall, the mirror meditates on it. The mirror thinks of it. This implies that mirror, which is an inanimate object, can think. Now, these two lines means that it spends most of its time thinking about and studying the wall across the room. The wall, which is just opposite to the mirror, has some spots on it, and it is most of the time it is thinking. The wall is getting reflected on the mirror, and it spends most of the time thinking and studying the wall across the room. The mirror says that it has looked at the wall for so long that it thinks that the wall is a part of its heart. You can see here that most of the time it thinks of the wall, so the wall has become a part of its heart. This shows a deep connection with it, the deep connection between the wall and the mirror. Now, it is pink and speckles. These are the descriptions of the wall. It is pink in color and has small spots. So, the mirror faces the wall and hence it reflects all the time. In these lines, details about the opposite wall are given. It is speckled and pink. Now, next the mirror tells us that the wall flickers. Underline flickers. Flickers means changes, frequent changes. It keep on changing. So, there are changes in this image. Here, faces and darkness separate us. First you underline us. Us refer to mirror and wall. Faces refer to the faces of people who stand in front of the mirror. The reflection will fall on the mirror and the wall will get disappeared. So, in two situations, the wall gets separated with the mirror. And one is darkness. That when the face disappeared and there is no light in the room, the wall get disappeared. So, faces and darkness separate mirror and the wall. So, the last line explains that the relationship between the wall and the mirror is not as constant as we thought. The wall flickers, the wall moves, keep on moving, keep on changing because of the faces and the darkness. Students, I hope these two stanzas are clear to you. So what you have to do is read properly, underline the meanings and go through it. I shall return with next video and explain the remaining stanzas. Thank you.